Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Okay, next please. How can I help you, young man?
We want to go all in on SRAX. We are stock people and this company deals with stock, so how can this possibly go wrong?
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that checked and it's gone.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Laughing Stock. Dane, how are you?
Good, how you doing, Johnny?
Yeah, good. SRAX, that's the company of the week, I think. They deal with stocks and that's what we do, right?
Yeah, so I mean,
it's a
match made in
perfect
heaven.
match. Yeah, I think that's... Can you get a more clear all-in bet than SRAX for some stock people? I'm not sure about it, but yeah, that's where I have my money now.
Yeah, usually when a stock reaches a penny,
Yeah.
that's really where I start to go all in.
Yeah. So
you can't go down from there.
remember the other company that we said that we should actually buy that one and change the name to heaps of AI and quantum computing thing, like all the buzzwords. And maybe we can start to create a portfolio with those types of companies and just have just use the names.
I have a sad feeling that would outperform.
Yeah. And then
despite all the market geniuses out there, I'm pretty sure that portfolio would outperform.
Yeah, and we can use the channel. And by the way, did you see on Discord? We are famous now. Did you see that on CNN?
We've been famous for a while, but yes.
Yeah. So we can use the channel to promote all these companies. So I think that's the game plan moving forward.
Yeah, we'll just get on all the big news networks.
Yeah. Mr. Wonderful, he likes us.
I mean, we're basically at the same place in life, so.
Yeah. Well, you are sitting there on your fancy boat, so something we are doing something right, I think.
True. The weather's beautiful out here. You can hear the wind.
Yeah, very calm, very calm.
Yeah, it's a nice day. Be fishing
Speaking on calm, what do you think about the markets this week?
This was a tough week for me. I made bad call after bad call. I couldn't get into anything. I couldn't stay in anything. The only one I actually got into that actually is my only other position besides USEG is box right now, which Monday would be my day to kind of back out if it doesn't do anything. But yeah, a lot of just stuff getting missed, and USEG pulled back at kind of the end of the week. Nothing big. It's just kind of been following with the markets. But Yeah, this what was I down this week? Yeah, I was down almost 3% this week, which
Yeah.
probably like 1% of that was it's probably split. Probably like 1.5% was from breakouts not working, and the other 1.5 was from just USEG pulling back. So
Yeah.
not a crazy thing, and I've had worse weeks and better weeks, but
It was just a bit surprising to me because we were a bit positive, last time, and moving forward. Also, I thought Tuesday started great. I was very happy with my glasses and everything, and Tuesday was a good day for me. But then, especially Thursday and Friday, I gave a lot of the gains back this week. And I remember yesterday texting you while the market was open, and I was like, okay, I'm stopped out of this. I just got stopped out on everything very quickly. And then it was annoying to me because a couple of the names that I had a profit on, I raised the stop to a break even point. So it was all good, but they later in the day, they turned around again and actually went up to almost where I had the gain before Friday. So I'm a bit annoyed of how that day ended, and it was very rough to, because I started Tuesday with a couple of very solid performers, and then I stepped on the gas a bit. I thought like, okay, coming from the week now, we saw breakouts were working. I saw a lot of setups that they were not perfect, but they were all right, I think. So I went into like 5 names or something during the week. I think even 6 names, and then they half of them or even more. I had a gain on until Friday, and then I got stopped on all of them. So it just was a bit of an anticlimax.
yeah, I think what uh what I've been noticing, just if you look at like the indexes, for instance, that just puts so much buying or selling pressure on the markets in general, because everybody who indexes affects like just such a every company essentially. Um, that like if you look, we're just kind of been kind of flat now for like the past week or two, and where I think a lot of those breakouts were just everything was going up because everybody's pulling like pouring back into the indexes, which is just kind of flooding the markets with a lot of more buy orders, and then a few individual companies can really benefit from that if they get any kind of buying pressure from just outside of the indexes, and you see now as we move sideways here for a little bit that extreme pressure to actually push through a breakout is kind of gone. So I think on like Friday morning looked really good because it looked like what was it? Trump's tariffs were blocked. Is that what that was
Yeah,
Friday, right? Not Thursday.
with the time difference here, we got that news late on Thursday, and then I
But either
woke
way,
up.
my point being is that's like going to affect the markets on Friday.
Yeah,
And then it looked like Friday was going to start pretty strong, and then it just died. Or maybe it was Thursday. I don't remember, to be honest. But either way, it looked like it was going to start really strong. Everything looked like it was up, and then just all day, just slowly down.
yeah.
So
Because that decision was overruled again. So they are now waiting for it to be handled again in court. So it's just like a status quo moment.
yeah, and to be honest, I feel like for the rest of this presidency, we're going to see that back and forth battle going on. So,
Yeah,
all of a sudden it'll be, tariffs are on and the markets will pull back, and then tariffs are off, the markets will go up. So it's like,
yeah. And to be honest though, like right here where we are now, it's kind of where the market was when he took office, right? 1st of January.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
around.
to be honest, I think everything's still up. I think I looked, the S&P's up like 1% for the year right now. So
Yeah. So
all this has been noise.
yeah, it's been a while, right? And I just remember Buffett in during this period, he was like, this is just noise, right? He didn't care about it almost. I'm sure they have made some decisions during this big dip, but he was so confident that this will get back.
Yeah, well, because Buffett has just been around for so, I mean, he's probably watched so many times where everyone's like, nope, this is the big one. This is where it's all going to fall apart, and he's like, yep, sure, it's going to happen. And then now it's coming right back. And, I mean, I think I was listening to a podcast and I thought it was kind of interesting because it was it was a financial guy, and he was working at or working with a big company, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was a big banking company, and he had done really well. It might have been like it was either J.P. Morgan or Fidelity or something. I think it was Fidelity actually, and the CEO was about to step down, and he went to him and he was like, and this was in reference to Buffett stepping down and basically knowing when to step down, when you get to a certain age. And he was like, he's like, you built this amazing company. He's like, why would you step down now? And, he's just like assuming that the answer is going to be that he's too old or he wants to go live his life. And it wasn't any of that. He just said his successor's ready.
Yeah.
So if you put that in context of Buffett, I think he looks at Greg, and I think he looks at the position that Berkshire's in, and he's like, it's time. Greg can take this over. Like, I know he's going to do a good job. I trust him. So really, that's kind of what I look at it as, and I thought that was a pretty awesome answer.
Yeah, it's the timing, right?
Yeah,
and also he sold out of Apple a long time ago before the election, right? So he had seen some of this coming and positioned himself, so he can also sit like with all those changes made ahead to just relax a bit, because he's so good at what he's doing. So this he probably expected something like this, which probably many did, but I'm not sure if people were expecting it to be this bouncy that it has been,
Yeah, and I think also too that Buffett, he has said it a million times. He's just looking at the business, and focusing on what the product is, what its niche is, and how much actual cash flow it's generating in comparison to everything else, essentially. And I mean, we all see it. It has what has Apple done in the past? I don't even know, like 10 years with their phones. That's like truly revolutionary. I can't think of almost anything. I mean, the phones, you get a phone from 10 years ago. Yes, it's faster with a better battery now and a better camera. But besides just those upgrades, there's nothing tangible changed in terms of like design and actual like execution that's like totally different. So I also think that he sees that at this point, staying this heavily invested in Apple, they're not leading the way in terms of like research and development like they were at one time. At one point, the iPhone was just so far and above and beyond any other kind of smartphone that it wasn't even like close. Now there's a lot of other options that I think are just as good, if not better in many ways. And I just think that competitive advantage has kind of been eroded. So that's all I think that he's really been paying attention. And as he sees that start to erode, he's like, I'm going to start to pull back on this until Apple shows me a reason to really push back into it. And I also think, just out of maybe a responsibility, he doesn't want to hand that large of a position over to Greg and make him, feel like he needs to be the one to decide when to get out of that, because that was really Buffett's play. He was the one who understood Apple like that.
It would be a tough call to do that straight away for him to just like, now we're selling out of Apple. So that would add a lot of pressure. So I think the timing here is good, like you said, and looking forward to see how Berkshire are doing moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Buffett has been working this closely with Greg, and I don't see him veering from that extreme strategy that they have of just understand the business, find wonderful businesses, wait till they go on sale and execute. That's it. There's no change to the strategy. The only exception to that is if it's really, really good business at the right price, you actually straight up buy it. But other than that, but my point of all of this was basically like, even if you look at like the NASDAQ or whatnot, I don't think he was predicting some kind of pullback from these tariffs. I don't think he looks at it ever from that perspective.
So you don't think we're gonna get like a Berkshire Hathaway NFT or anything like that?
If we do, it would be as a joke.
Yeah.
If Greg comes out and that's his first thing he does, as a joke, I'll just think he's immediately like the man. Just
Yeah.
you know.
All right. Yeah. So I need to clear one thing first, because it has come to my attention then that I was mistaken by one of the companies that we or I talked about, QMCO. Not it's called Quantum Corporation, right? And to make my score sheets, I've used ChatGPT to kind of group them, and I looked through my history there, and the mistake is like it's my fault. ChatGPT did everything right, but I don't know how I did it. But I grouped this one into the quantum computing name. But now I understand that they are not a quantum computing company. They deal with like computer parts and stuff like that. So I'm just I apologize if anyone that watched the streams thought this was like a quantum computing name just because I said it. But this is also a little bit moving forward, I think, with swing trading. I'm not going to have the time to look into each company as well as I did with the value style. So yeah, I got tricked by the name a bit on this one. And the chart also, it is tracking the other quantum computing names. So yeah, that's kind of why I didn't notice it. But yeah, I just wanted to clear that up.
I also just want to slightly correct you. That's not entirely, you weren't entirely wrong.
Okay.
If you read just even their profile, I don't know how well you understand. One of the biggest benefits of quantum computing will be the fact that, well, I guess this isn't a benefit, but this is a problem we have to deal with, is the fact that current encryption for data service will be broken by quantum computers. They'll be able to break our encryption system. So when we sending, any kind of sensitive information back and forth or storing it somewhere, quantum computers will be able to break the current encryption. So we have to change that. And it specifically says on their thing, it offers global support, customer support agreements, software subscriptions, installation, education, consulting, as well as quantum as a service. So it does, and the company sells its products through a network of distributors, value-added resellers, direct market resellers, original equipment, as well as directly to corporate entities and government agencies. And their whole part is secure storage for long-term data archiving and offline data protection. So while they might not be a traditional quantum computer company, they're going to need to be a quantum computer company to make sure that that data stays safe. So they are in the area, in the realm. It's not like, I get what you're saying. It's not a true like it's just not. They're not building quantum computers, but
because
that's
it's okay. I in my sheet, like the score sheet that I post on Discord, all the groups is like I've asked ChatGPT to if this is their core business, So this is obviously not their core business then, but they are in the space, and that's probably why they have that name and why the chart tracks the other ones. But yeah, just a minor clarification.
One thing that brings up though is, should we change our name to the Quantum Laughingstock?
Yeah, yes, I think we should, and maybe throw in AI too.
We can become public. We'll call it QLS.
Yeah.
And
that works.
We'll create an NFT.
Yeah, and we should change names too, like Quantum Dane and AI Johnny.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah. That's gonna be the upgrade on the channel when we hit some swing trades on this quantum space.
Yeah, the robots will definitely be our friends then.
But to be fair though, a quantum computing group, they reached a score of 3 in my sheet, and then quickly now they have turned back to 1 again. So they had a little bit of momentum, but like the rest of the market, you can see some of the tickers here. They pulled back from the top, and That's Thursday and Friday, like we started out saying today. Those 2 days were rough for a lot of things that looked good on Wednesday. So QUBT, QBTS pulled back a little bit. And QBTS actually looked very good. It was just going straight up, that one. But now it has pulled back to the 10-day moving average and broke below it. But I think it turned around again now. So it's going to be interesting. I'm keeping all of these names in on my radar, because if they start to build a base and you see it setting up, this could probably one of those that you want to get in on, maybe even before the breakout happens.
Yeah, I think I actually, one of the companies I took was QUBT on Thursday, because Thursday it opened up. It was up, I think, like 10% or something like that. So I took it and it went up a little, and then it pulled right back and stopped me out. But it does look good if you I know QBTS has like that higher peak, but this looked a little bit flatter to me and more of a consolidation type phase.
For sure. And it had that volume. As I also saw it on Thursday, and it was up a lot in the beginning. I think up 15% or something, and then it just fell.
Yeah, I went quickly from a 5% gain to a 2% loss.
Yeah,
it's like a matter of seconds.
It was a bit rough. But yeah, the quantum names are pulling back again. It was very ugly on yesterday. I think if I can start to go, I don't even remember the names I had. Like this is the one, then OUST. This is the one I got stopped on Friday. I had a gain on it, and then I got stopped, and then I moved in on it again and got stopped again. And then after the second try, it actually went up. So I just did everything wrong there. But I still kind of like it. What are your thoughts about the OUST right here? If you look at the volume too, it's getting some nice volume.
Like I think this one looks good. I like it because I always am comparing things in context to the indexes now. And like, this had that big pullback, but also showed a lot of buying strength at the very end there. So
it did.
I'm kind of curious, like, even though the end of last week was kind of ugly, I feel like next week's going to be a strong week. I don't know why I have that feeling. I'm probably dead wrong. It's probably going to be like a massacre. And that, like, USEG will go down to like 40 cents.
Yeah.
But I just have a feeling that like there was a big sell off because we had a strong run there for a little bit. But when I look at the index, I feel like it still looks like it's trying to break out.
Yeah,
like we're at that 10-day moving average. We're starting to move sideways a little bit. I have a feeling that it's going to start to push back up towards the top of that resistance that you saw back at the end of last year, through like, I don't know, February, March, before the tariffs started to bother. But I think we have some time. A lot of the tariff news is coming back at the, what was it? Was it July? Or is it June?
Yeah, July, I think it was.
Yeah, so I think we have like a month here where everyone's going to be like taking risk. And then as we get closer to that, like the tariffs expiring, if there isn't news before that point, which who knows? I mean, it probably will be back and forth all over the place as always. But I think you'll see us kind of trickle up. That's what I picture. I don't it seems like everything's still kind of moving well. It seems like the economies are all moving. Like I said, I feel like everybody here is doing everything it kind of reminds me of like we're back before COVID times. Like everyone's back to just doing everything like normal.
Yeah, no, I have the same feeling. Like I remember we texted on Thursday, where Thursday was also a bit rough, and I think we both agreed like. It seems a little bit like a floor here that we thought Friday were going to be positive, but then of course you got that news and it ended up red. I don't know if that was the sole reason, but that was the result regardless. But I kind of have the same feeling like you. Like it's a bit careful now, moving a bit sideways, and you got some of those sell days. But you know, in the sheets that we are tracking the market and stuff like that, it doesn't look terrible. It's still much greater than if you just go back a month. So no, I think I agree with you. And back to OUST, it's like a clear cup and handle. But what do you think about this overhang it has from 3rd of January, like the very beginning of the year?
Like where it was at like almost 16.
Friday 3rd and Monday 6th of January.
Yeah. I mean, the way I look at these charts now is like that's the next line of resistance up there, and you almost have that way back in July to August of last year as well. That peak back there.
Yeah.
So you know, if this breaks out, I see it getting up to somewhere in that region before you run into a lot of resistance.
Yeah.
So
I just
you know,
think.
sorry.
I
Oh, I was just gonna say,
just.
like, there was a huge drop after like that August one. There was a pretty solid drop from, you know, the early part of the year to March. So I'm assuming a lot of those people have sold out, the ones that bought really high. There's still some there, but yeah, you could see this, you know, blast past that. It just depends on the pressure. You know, and if the company can continue to put out like, you know, any kind of news or anything like that, I mean, that's what's going to drive it.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I was going to say the same thing. Like from the beginning to the year to around March, where it bounced up on earnings, both those bounces are actually on earnings, and I think in that period before March, there, it just tracks the market, right? And like you said, people are selling out, and so when I see the setups now, I pay a little bit less to that overhang resistance it has from, you know, before Trump got elected, because it's a little bit of a special situation, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to hold it in context of the overall markets. And by the way, now I'm convinced it's going to go up. If you go on just like Yahoo, it says, was Jim Cramer right about OUST? And he said it's not going to go up. So this thing's going towards the moon.
Yeah, and I see after hours are up 3% again. So it's just getting more and more annoying to me that I didn't manage to stay in this one. But I still think you can have time this coming week on this. But yeah, I really gonna. This is on my watch list for sure. Another one I had was PAYS, PAYS.
Yeah, did this work out for you?
No, it was a break even, because on Friday it dipped down to my break even point, because I raised the stop on Friday actually from down 3% to a break even, because I was up 8% on it the day before, and I didn't want it to turn into a loss for me, which I was a little bit scared it would just drop, you know. But then this one also came right back, and you know, if I had held it a little bit longer and didn't raise my stop, I would have probably a 7% gain or something in 3 days, which I would be happy with.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I saw this pop up. I had missed it. I didn't get a chance to get in on it, but
yeah. No, so that sucked a bit as well. Let me think. OPFI. I took OPFI again, OPFI, and I just want to replay a little bit here on the chart, Dane, because this wasn't relevant to my thinking, because I went in before this news released, but it just confirmed something that I've been just thinking about more and more, how important it is. I will just play some you know, I took it here on this day here on a breakout, and then the next day is a red candle. It gapped up and it dropped down, and this day it had news, and the news was like some analyst company was giving OPFI what do you say, like they gave it like the this was the bull of the day. And then it just gapped up and it went straight down after getting that news. And then it continued down and I got stopped on it here. So I took it here on the breakout, and then comes the news. Let's see what they call it, like OPFI and Westlake have been highlighted as SAC's bull and bear of the day, and OPFI was the bull. So just like ignore the news, right?
Yeah, well, and not to ignore the news, but this is also why I think Minervini and like Qualamaji and all these guys, I think this is why it's so important to focus on the consolidation phase, because when you look at a lot of these and you look at the low volume periods, that is really truly where you do see the breakouts. And like, sure, it's easy to find breakouts as they reach new highs, like that yellow candle where it looks like it's going to break out on.
Yeah.
The problem with that one is it's like you're almost late there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just breaking above the 10-day moving average there. So I don't know. It's the more I keep doing this, the more I'm starting to focus on that. Like, if you really want to capture some of these moves, you almost are going to have to sit and do more homework, because the breakouts are easy to spot once they're happening, but then obviously you're a little bit late getting in, which is fine. It's going to lead to a higher percentage in terms of like your hit rate. But in terms of actual overall performance per stock or trade, I should say, if you can get in at a cheat level, which is that consolidation period right before it takes off, that's really where you're going to see, you know, pretty solid returns, and your chance of getting stopped out is drastically lower.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just I think one of the things I've been noticing that I feel like I could pull off very well is when you start to see a strong stock. There's a lot of times you can get in on those names, and it's not necessarily on the breakout. It's usually kind of right before, or it's already in like a really slow uptrend, like that period at the end of April on this to the start of May, where it kind of slowly is trickling up there. That's a good time period to be looking at a stock like this. And then soon after, you see the volume's really low. All the index or all the moving averages are kind of consolidating right there, and then it breaks out right above it. You know, and if
That
you
was
had,
on earnings.
and if you had held for that, that's where you're going to get the real gain. So it's just one of those things. Before like I said, it was easy for me to focus on 52-week highs, just because those ones are obvious. But when the whole market's not reaching new highs, those have been working less. I used to see them work a lot more, but also the whole market was reaching new highs. So while we're not at new highs for the entire market, you have to kind of adjust when you can't just use those super highs because we're not there yet. They do work great once the whole market's there. But in the meantime, you have to find different strategies. And I'm sure this correlates to indexes and stuff like that. But that's why I think this works, because there's small buying pressure going on in the background. And then if an index has any kind of buying pressure on top of it, it just pushes these over. You know what I mean? It's just all of a sudden the indexes are going to buy up whatever kind of selling volume's there. And then the price just breaks through. There's no, there's not anyone selling at that point anymore. And all of a sudden you'll watch the price explode.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense to anybody.
Yeah, no, it does. I think also, did you see GME?
I had seen the one day it pulled back pretty hard, but I didn't really know.
GME had a proper failed breakout, from this big bounce or drop down here. It looked good, and it had the momentum. It had all the things again, like people were speaking about it on Reddit, and started to get that little bit of feeling that this is gonna go again. But then comes the news that they have bought some Bitcoin now, and it just dropped on that news pretty heavy, and it just failed to recover properly,
Yeah, but I also think it's GME is like an opportunistic thing, when everybody on Reddit's talking about it, you can get in on this and catch some of the wave.
Yeah, no, for sure, and GME should always be on your radar, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is the original Mac Daddy of everything. I mean, I guess you could argue Tesla was technically before GameStop, but there's never been another GameStop.
Yeah,
Maybe AMC. AMC is the other one that's kind of nutty.
yeah. I watched SFix the last couple of days, but I'm not sure if I like it so much anymore. It's a bit low here in terms of the previous days, but yeah, it's on the watch list to give it a more time, and they have earnings in 10 days, so let's see.
Yeah, I mean, it's got low volume and it's starting to, ride that moving average. It doesn't look terrible.
No. And I guess some of the other clothing, I saw, what is it, ANF. They had a big gap on earnings, but they just pulled straight back.
Yeah, I didn't even see that one. That
No,
I wonder what happened there.
yeah, they have positive earnings and it just smashed. I think it's the general outlook or something for that kind of industry. So SFix, I'm not sure if I want to touch it before the earnings now. Just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to. It might pop before. I feel like a lot of times stuff kind of runs up leading up to earnings, and then the earnings is that final nail in the coffin, whether it's going to
Yeah,
pop up or pull back. So
yeah, that is true. Another one I took actually was COMM, COMMSCO, COMM.
yeah,
This was a break-even trade for me. I took it here on Tuesday, and I was up on it like 5% or something, but I just raised the stop to protect myself a bit, and I got stopped out on a break-even term there. So
I mean, this
um,
looks good. It's just this one has just failed multiple times to break out at this level.
yeah, that's why I raised the stop, because I didn't want to. I looked at the history there, and it's just pulling back, and it really struggles. It's a long way till the $7 mark still, but that's kind of the next place it's wanting to go if it does break out, and it just struggles. But it had some good earnings, in 1st of May, and that's why you see the run up also. So maybe, yeah, I'm keeping all the ones I was in this week on the watch list, because they still look a bit interesting. And then I had a couple of winners. One was this one, ZENA, which this comes from a result of me testing some other strategies actually, and we like to test things and constantly try to look for things, and I got in on last like Thursday or something here, and I actually managed to sell out pretty high up on this candle, so that was a bit lucky. But that was a big one for me. I got a 30% on
Yeah, that
it.
was a pretty wild day where it popped there. I mean, there was a lot of volume.
Yeah,
And I know this isn't typically our strategy because this is obviously a stock in a downtrend, but
yeah,
Johnny's been working his magic, trying some new things. So
yeah. And
um,
I want to when I try things, I want to put some money behind it, so I get a feeling for if this is actually something I can do or not. And I've done it on 3 stocks now, and 2 of them has worked out, and I'm tracking a lot of things, but I'm let's see where it takes me. The other one was BuzzFeed, which was also the same style, and I sold out on a 20% gain around here somewhere. And this one also, I bought it on Thursday, the previous week. So those 2 on Tuesday were actually very good for me, and made my week positive at least. And BuzzFeed is a company that we have done on the deep value style streams. Also, I know Courage and Conviction is involved here. So I know it from a value perspective as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on those two, I just took the gains when I had them, and I continued to raise the stop. So I just got stopped out at certain levels. So yeah, that was the ones I've been in this week. I think I don't think I forgot anything.
Yeah, the only one that I said that actually worked out for me was Box,
Yeah,
which had a strong earnings on Wednesday. And I kind of took it as like an EP. I saw it in the morning and I think it was up like 10%. So I hopped in like as soon as I saw it. And because it looked close to where it could break out. It had gapped up to like a perfect breakout level. So I took it, I luckily took it there and I was able to stay in it. So that was the one thing that worked out for me. Everything else this week has just been, as soon as I get in, give it like a little bit of time. And the worst part was too, is I was really busy on Tuesday and Wednesday, so I didn't get a chance to really watch all that much. And then, of course, Thursday and Friday, I had more time. And those days, everything just got decimated. So just bad timing. It is what it is.
But Box looks still interesting, though. If this starts to go sideways, I'm going to keep a track on this one.
Yeah, I agree.
So your sell day is on Monday, then?
Yeah, I mean, technically, I could have sold at the end of yesterday too, but I think I was contemplating on selling, and then at the end of the day, I saw the strength there, and I'm just wondering, is the market's going to be able to push up on Monday? Once again, it'll probably be the wrong move. It'll probably pull back, and I'll lose everything on it. But whatever.
Yeah, but great volume.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is it had just multiple buy days. So we'll see.
Bigger side of a company, 5 billion, 5.5.
Yeah, it was just there's a lot of volume. That's the heavy volume on that initial jump is kind of what sold me, because I just didn't picture that much volume coming in and people selling out that much.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. If there's like 16 million in volume and this is a $30 stock, I mean, that's a lot of money coming into this.
Yeah, and this is a big move for a company. I look at the ADR and it's like just below 2%.
Yeah, so it's rare you see a company like this show that kind of strength. So that just gave me a little confidence to get in.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a huge gain either. I mean, not terrible, but not anything wild.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see if it's able to hold it all. And then, yeah, like I said, QBT, I got kicked out of. I had a few break evens or ones that I had moved up the stock a little bit. I tried to take FEIM on Tuesday because it looked good to me. And then the next day it just pulled back and kicked me out. There was definitely one or two other ones. I'm trying to think. Just pull up my list here of ones I've been looking at and see what the names are. VOXR was another one.
Oh yeah, I forgot VOXR. I was in that too.
Yep. VOXR, same thing. I ended up being break even for me, but
I actually sold this one before it triggered my stop, because I just wanted to get out when it started to get red there.
Yeah, and it was the right move.
Yeah.
So
this was it's a Canadian mine or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw though then AEVA, AEVA. What do you think about that? This one looks it looks perfect, right? But is it setting up again now? You think so?
I mean, it's hard. It's still in a run up. I mean,
yeah,
if anything, I think it's going to move sideways for a little bit. I would just look at that last period where it consolidated with 10 and 20 moving average.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to bounce again until something similar happens at this level.
And the move is from 19th of March. It has moved 500%. So
Yeah.
you need to rest a bit.
This had just day after day after
Yeah,
day of
it's-
buys.
And look at the volume, and they are delivering on the earnings also. It's just like in a crazy momentum. But yeah, on my watch list, FTK is moving sideways a bit.
Yeah, this is another one completely missed, which sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see where this one is heading, because right now that's a pretty steep. It's a steep move, you know, from
Right.
beginning of May. But kind of like to watch this one. Groupon, we talked about Groupon last time, and it just keeps on delivering. Has beneath average volume, but it's still going up.
Yeah, I mean, I missed that initial breakout day, so
Yeah,
it just kind of
same
kept
here.
me out of it.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
hard though,
there's
because
been a lot of instances where it's just hard for me to get into things. I'm at the wrong time, so I'm just trying to just take my time with stuff, you know.
yeah, but it's hard to get those, because those common earning reports, you know, so you're always going to be a bit late on those.
Right.
I think which one was it? Hold on. Can't remember now. Yeah, this one was the one we spoke about last time, right? The OLO. It was a bit similar to AEVA, and that one has broken below the 10-day moving average now. But let's see if it will break the 20-day as well, or if it's going to bounce up again here. But the RS line is moving downwards a little bit, so yeah, just gonna be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
That also got some good volume.
Yeah, it's been on the list, but it's just a lot of these names I just have not been able to get in and on.
Yeah. And
you know, it's easy to look back at some of these names and you know, look at the chart, and my problem is I've just been getting stopped out. My timing is just, I don't know. I think I haven't been looking at so much on intraday charts on some of these things, and I think I need to focus back on that, because I feel like I had a lot more success when I would zoom into the intraday chart to try and actually take my position on these things.
Yeah. It's hard though, and you need time, right?
Yeah, that's a huge problem with me, is I've just been busy and I haven't had a great amount of time to watch.
Yeah. One stock that was performing really good on Friday was TSSI. It had a big bounce up on some pretty good volume, but I'm not sure. What do you think about this here, Dane? It's a little bit like a cup and handle, but it needs a proper breakout, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, but it does look good. I mean, 18% volume's 5 million.
Yeah. No, I like it, and this is a completely new territory. If this breaks out over this area here that it had on 18th of February and maybe even 24th of January, this is brand new territory for stock.
Yeah. I mean, it has had quite the run up.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for sure. CSGS was another one I saw. I kind of like this one.
Yeah, this is hovering pretty nicely. It looks like it could break out.
Yeah, that's going to be. I'm gonna watch closely on that one, but
That's a really good EPS.
sorry.
I said its earnings per share is really good.
Yeah. 2 quarters in a
Almost
row.
$3.
And also this one, you mentioned this last time, right? The SKWD.
Oh, that's QWT. I think so.
Yeah. There's a lot of stickers, but I like it. It looks good here. Also,
Yeah, I
better
just
compared to-
I don't know. Like I said, it was just a tough week for me. So I'm like, I have to kind of go back in and just go back to the drawing board in terms of my execution on things.
Yeah. This is the weekly chart, so I think there's a lot of setups that you can watch now. And like you said earlier, like you had a feeling, right? Like next week is going to be a good week, and if it is, there's a lot of potential things you can jump in on and try. If you just put that tight stop loss on them. It's definitely way more setups now than it was a month ago, from what I can see from my screens.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I just we'll see. We'll see where it goes. It's you know, as always, I try not to predict what the future is going to bring.
Yeah. Yeah, I think these are the ones I saw for the week. A bit annoying that I got stopped out on some that I still like, but you can always jump in again on something. But
Have you pulled up any names in terms of value or?
no, I have not. And I just saw Value Hunter in Discord. He said he was involved in this one, high flag. So that looks interesting. And Groupon, like we said, and OST as well. OST looks good. If you took it when it was around here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. Is it any news on USEG that you want to?
I mean, the
Just tracking the market.
Yeah, it seems to be tracking the market. I mean, it did have a pullback towards the end of the week, but more importantly, CEO continues to buy. Just had another buy of another 2,000, so he's just steadily buying. So it keeps giving me confidence. You know, the more he buys, the more I want to just kind of stay in and hold my position here.
It's not often you see this. It's not a heavy dollar amount, but it's like the frequency of purchases. You don't see that so often.
And I mean, if anyone's watched any of his videos in terms of just talking about the company, like he truly is setting the company up to not only run successfully, but he thinks they could get acquired. So
Yeah.
if he thinks, if he's able to estimate that this is worth, you know, $3-4, you know, at a selling value, you know, I mean, he owns a lot of shares. So I'm happy to stay here and just watch it trickle up.
Yeah.
But I mean, even though it did have the pullback, like you said, it was up a little bit in after hours, and it's been moving quite a bit around, and it's actually been kind of strong. I mean, we were down into around like $1, and we're still at $1.22. And I think what did you say it was after hours? What did it end at?
I can't remember now.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
246, so 125.
Yeah, almost 126. It's almost exact. It's 120 on Yahoo. It says 125.95. So,
Yeah.
so which is about average, you know. So it's holding there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Nothing's changed in terms of how I'm looking at things. Like I said, I still think that this is. I was actually surprised it was rising as quickly as it was because I still think, you know, we have a while till really strong news starts to pour in from it. But either way, just a strong stock to keep riding up right now. So we'll see. Once again, it had reached up into like the upper 30s, and then it kept finding resistance as it got into the 40s. It did touch 40 a few times and got up into the 40s.
Yeah.
But wasn't able to break through there. So that's really where I'm looking to see if it can show some strength, you know.
Yeah.
Seems to be the next hurdle in terms of like technicals.
This one is still interesting for a longer term play for me. I don't have a position, but you started to buy around 110, right?
Yeah, my cost basis is 112 right now.
Yeah. Which is a very good floor here in this era here. That I think you did well getting in there. Yeah, but let's see. And you know, history wise, this has some of these spikes.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, the chart I feel like doesn't do it justice because it really does move around during the day. I mean, it's still low volume in terms of, you know, what's actually going on, but like if you look at like the like 60-minute chart, it had definitely shown some pretty solid strength last week, but like we said at the end of this week, it really did pull back. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. It's tough to say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't really checked any value stocks, but if you have a name, I can pull it up here.
I had updated my dashboard, but I didn't go through to actually find, you know, anything right now. Just I feel like we're more towards the stronger part of, you know, the market here. So I think this is more where I start to splash back into breakouts, you know.
Yeah.
Even though, like I said, it had a rough week for me, but it is what it is. You know, there's weeks where it just doesn't work out for me. So
yeah, but that's how it is, and you're still up a decent amount overall, I think. So
I'm still up for the year, so I'm not like disappointed. I'm just like I said, just every time like I have a bad week like that, it just makes me kind of sit and start going through everything and watching to see what I can work on.
Yeah.
Because there was things that worked last week, even with the pullbacks. I just had a lot of my stops get kicked in early on, so I kind of got in and got right out of a bunch of names, and then afterwards it was just like, you know what, I'm just going to stop for a little bit and just see if anything can build up from there.
Yeah. I'm just going through some of the insider purchases here in my daily mover, and I saw a fair amount at UHG, United Homes Group.
Yeah.
And they are up big in aftermarket too.
One that has a lot of insider buying is Lionsgate Studios, LION.
Yeah. Oh, that's from a fund too. Who are they? Liberty 77.
I'm not 100% sure, but
Liberty Strategic Capital is a Washington, D.C. based private equity firm focused on investing in dynamic global technology companies.
another one's Joby, JOBY, had pretty solid insider buying. Same thing. It had a huge jump on Wednesday and then pulled back with the markets the past 2 days. But either way,
It says the Toyota Motor Corporation has bought those shares. What is the Yobi? Toyota investment pushes it closer to a strategic manufacturing alliance.
like Joby's trying to make like air taxis a thing.
Yeah, I see it now.
It's a pretty wild concept. But interesting that Toyota takes interest in them.
Yeah. And pretty heavy too.
Yeah, I mean, that's a serious buy. I mean,
I think that's only half also from I see some comments here that they announced a 500 million investment, so those were just half of it, right?
yeah, maybe they'll buy now that it pulled back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that could send it ever so slightly higher.
Big company already.
Yeah, but there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
If you pull up their main page there, it's like little plane / helicopter looking.
I
thing.
remember them, yeah. I have checked them out before.
Yeah, it's cool.
They are in the EV. How do you say that? EVTOL, right? EVTOL?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it just
Yeah.
they're trying to be electric vehicles. It's just
Yeah.
the fact that most people say you can't make an electric vehicle that can fly, and these guys are proving that wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do
Probably
you think?
wouldn't.
You hop in one of these?
Yeah, I was gonna say probably wouldn't be the first one. I would.
No,
I would
I
let.
don't think this is going to be for me just yet.
Yeah, I would let a few people. Just by looking at that one, it reminds me a little bit of the submarine. That went down to the Titanic. I don't
Yeah, that
want.
went well.
I don't want to. I don't want to end up in the same situation as that. But cool. Future has the potential to look very cool. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, with all like the drone technology and stuff going on, I mean, having some of these type of aircraft type things are probably pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I wonder how heavy this thing is to fly on all electricity. It's interesting.
Look at the insider purchases in TTSH. That fund one investment is just purchasing multiple purchases per month.
Yeah, what's really weird with them is, did you see on May 8th, the stock price got all the way down to like $4 and then recovered all the way back up to like 6 in one day.
That was on an earnings report.
It was just low volume to cause that much of a move in the price.
Is the market cap here 284? That was
But we're
very,
talking.
that was like just slightly above average volume.
That's what I'm saying. Like to
Yeah.
move that much in one day on that little volume. I mean, what is that? They must have low flow because that's a pretty crazy move.
It went up 30, 37 at the top there.
You got anything else that you've been looking at?
Sorry, I'm just trying to find the outstanding shares for that company.
Or I can pull it up on Yahoo real quick.
Yeah, I tried to use TradingView. Could have just gone with Yahoo.
What
is it?
Shares outstanding 45 million. Flow is 13 million.
Yeah.
It's actually got a decent short position. Shares or percent of floats at 6%. That's short.
That chart is still very, very weird though.
That could have been why that moved so much, though. Maybe that was shorts covering. That can cause quite a bit of movement.
I saw BNet in the screens this week.
Yeah, I did on one day. But I haven't really looked at it in a while. I mean, I think it was definitely an opportunity when we were looking.
Yeah.
A little early, but
a bit early, and the chart now doesn't look very interesting. It needs to come up more. Looks a bit messy, this whole thing.
Yeah. One that I am still watching that Value had brought up was MSGM.
Yeah.
I had some strong days this week, although it kind of pulled back too, but it's still above the 10-day moving. So
it kind of tracks like a lot of those breakouts that failed. It starts up. It did recover a bit though on Wednesday, but then it just fell. But it just briefly broke the 10-day moving average, so this can turn around.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I tried focusing on, in this last run up, it actually closing below it, kind of like Qualamaji does. Like, I don't necessarily sell like he does. Like, I know he takes half his position or whatever it is, and sells it after that. But I just more think of it as just like a sign of strength or weakness.
Yeah.
I'm just going through a lot of like the stronger names I've seen, and just everything showed weakness right at the end there. That last bit it's kind of tough to see where we're going because everything kind of hit a wall.
Yeah. And if you look at the Nvidia also after earnings, it kind of wants to break out and then it fails as well, a big company like that.
Yeah, I think the overall news kind of just remains. I mean, Nvidia is just the powerhouse in terms of producing the GPUs. So,
yeah,
I don't see that really changing all that much. And it's. I think all of us are slowly. I don't know how much you personally use it, but I use AI like all the time. At least ChatGPT is the main one I use, but it's just going to become more and more of a tool to use.
Yeah, of course it will. Nvidia does look good on a weekly chart.
Yeah, you're right. It does.
Bit big though. Yeah, no,
Just a bit.
I think these were the tickers that I saw this week.
Yeah, there's some other names, but I don't know. Everything's kind of been all over the place. I saw Red Robin that had a really strong day on Friday.
Yeah.
Livewire's been like murdering it. Is there anything else that's really stood out to me?
Oh, there's an alert, Dane.
What's up?
We got a subscriber. Thank you.
Thank you.
We got a new subscriber. Thank you. I didn't catch the name there, but welcome to the channel, then.
Yeah, thanks for being able to tune in at a random time in the day.
Yeah.
Would you ever be able to do like an evening stream your time?
Yeah, probably, but around what time do you think?
I was just thinking if we were able to do it more like noon on a Saturday or something, like noon, like my time, I'm saying. So it'd be like, like 6 p your time.
Yeah, I think I could.
I feel like we would probably get a much better audience instead of, being quite so early.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because
we
then
can
we probably
definitely
capture,
test it out.
Yeah. But then we could capture, the States and Europe.
Yeah. Everyone
Sorry
is
people like value living in New Zealand.
We need to get value on the actual stream on time so we can cover all the world.
No, I would love to have them on.
Yeah. Value, let us know on if you're interested to jump in one day. We have had a third person on before, right? But more like an interview situation. Well, maybe we can talk a little bit about not X with value and just spend a little bit time going into how that entire thing played out for him, because that was very successful.
Yeah, NutX is still one of the best performing stocks of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, look at this. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
And it still looks good, bro. I'm not sure in terms of value.
It just continues to perform. I mean, yeah. I remember he showed me this when it was like $5.
Yeah, I know.
And I mean, what a year.
Take the week.
It's rare that you get to actually watch one of these pan out.
You know, it would be if he wants to share with us, of course, but that would be cool.
Yeah, then we'd really have to find a time that works for all of us.
Yeah, that would be tricky.
So I'm trying to think what would even be ideal.
I think one of us has to suffer a bit with the time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I see a lot of talk of like Carvana and Palantir as
Yeah,
like
Palantir is always up there.
yeah, but like new leaders to, you know, in this coming bull market. Uh, what are your thoughts on stuff like this? These are giant companies.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing is it's just a big company, so it's not typically what I'm looking at, but it has had just a like what a year. I mean, you know, it's done really well.
Yeah.
Um,
If you
so
look at the Palantir chart, it looks
yeah, I
really
mean,
good
this is
actually.
one of those ones that too. I mean, it's it's up 7% on Friday, which is that's a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
But how quickly does it move at these kind of levels? I imagine not. What do you have for the ADR?
486.
I mean, that's actually surprisingly high, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It could. I mean, it can keep pushing. I mean, I'm sure there's been like 6 times on this chart. It looks like it couldn't go much higher, and it has. So
The RS line is also just rising, so this one has everything that you want actually.
right. So maybe still an interesting play here.
Maybe like a bit of a longer term. According to TradingView, it's 72 days till the next earnings report. So and they just outperformed on the earnings a little bit. So
Yeah.
and it got volume, like you said, on Friday, went against the entire market, and it's setting up kind of like a breakout here, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you zoom out and look at like a weekly or a monthly chart, it looks just great.
Yeah. Yeah, the weekly looks good. 'Cause, you know, I've been watching a lot of David Ryan and what he says, and he talks about like these 3 moves that a stock can have, and then usually you get like in Palant. I'm not sure if this is probably going to go even higher, you know, but just an example of what he's saying, when you see like these moves in kind of like in this angle, you know, and then you get like one very steep angle. That's the third one. It gets a bit extended. So he says like I'm being a little bit careful when I see something like that.
Yeah.
But then it has moved sideways for a little bit, and it's moving out maybe now on a new run. So it's just like some of these formations that can be interesting to watch in some strong stocks like this is.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like I've seen very similar things as I watch
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah. Right, then should we end it, or?
Yeah, because I don't, like I said, I didn't really have a chance to go through all the deep value stuff, so I don't want to sit on here and just stare at random charts. And
Yeah, and I think
but
I have covered the ones I have been interested in this week, and you know, like I said, I'm keeping most of the ones I got stopped out on still on the watch list, because I think they still look great. And if next week is coming in strong, I think you can get some opportunities, and it's about time we get some longer streak in a bullish side now, and you want to be ready. But right now I'm all in cash again.
yeah, I just I only have the 2 positions, and they're and because USEG pulled back now, it's around what's my percent? Like I'm at like 13% on USEG,
Yeah.
and box is up a little bit, so it's like an 11% position. But other than that, I'm just in cash. So yeah, just kind of waiting, seeing where things go. Hopefully this next week I can play things a little bit better and get into these things. I gotta really kind of hone in and focus on things. But there's times where I've been streaky, and it's like it seems kind of deterring because it's like, you're down like 2-3% and it doesn't really matter with USEG because that's a long-term hold. But yeah, it's just annoying that I had a week where I missed so many breakouts. But also too, like you said too, it was more just the end of the week was just weak.
Yeah, I actually
And
thought on Tuesday and Wednesday that this looked great, and then it
yeah,
just
that's the thing is it looked really good. So Thursday also looked like it was going to start the day really strong,
yeah,
and then just pulled back from there. So
yeah, a bit disappointing, but hopefully just noise. I see a lot of talks about this and that stuff that's going on in the world. I'm just trying to block it out and just wait and see what happens when the market opens.
yeah, just focus on the names that are moving.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got anything to add?
No, just that my local football team is playing the stupid neighbors tomorrow, so I'm going to that game, and you need to wish me luck because actually last time over there it was a draw, but we lost to them stupid idiots at home here, so we need a little bit of a revenge.
Well, you got to just have faith. You guys will pull it off.
Yeah, I think so. It's
Trust
about
me,
time we crush them.
Yeah, I'm a Knicks fan, so this series for basketball has been disheartening to say the least. So
Okay.
they play again tonight, and it's do or die. So we'll see if they
All
can
right.
keep up.
Yeah.
Need a miracle.
No, it's sport wise, it has been a terrible year for me actually, but things will turn. Everything will turn, right?
Yeah, all my teams, they have been getting farther than they have in the past, but just no one's been able to pull anything off. So we'll see. I'm hoping, but just no one seems to be able to pull that championship out.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. I mean, it's it's what makes sports interesting.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think that's it then.
All right,
We'll do another one next week, and I don't know if it's going to be Saturday or Sunday, but we can maybe test out the time then if it works out a bit later. Just see. But we will update everyone in the Discord channel, and then our new subscriber, please come into the Discord as well, because we are trying to have some quick conversations there as well during the week. So just an addition to the channel.
Yeah, it's one way that we actually get talking on there, during the week, and the more people that join that, I'm sure the more apt I would be to be on there actually really, really talking.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to kind of do that more live on the days that I'm actually able to watch the market a little bit. So
yeah, because when a lot of things are happening also, like it looked a little bit like that on Tuesday and Wednesday, it's nice to just get a touch and feel of what everyone is doing, and then we use Discord because a week is a long time just being silent when a lot of things are going on. So it's just I like it, and we are trying to get people in there so we can share ideas and I think improve. Everyone needs to improve a bit. So yeah, head to the Discord. Yeah.
I need to improve a little bit.
Yeah, same here. All right. We will update on the Discord then which day and what time we will do the next stream. And until then, I hope my team wins, and I want everyone to enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, go Knicks.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye, everybody.